tragedy.
Termites had eaten almost all the way through the floor structure. And that floor was going to come down at any time.
Oh, you're not supposed to answer that way, Scott.
Yep.
Jeez.
We tie a ski rope to our golf cart and we get a sled and we drag our kids up and down the street until the police stop us.
Some people think it is X-ray vision. It is not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
And then a crane grabs it and starts putting it together like Legos.
If you're lucky, a crane.
You might not see it, but he will. Scott Campbell of Moore's Home Inspections joins me to uncover what's lurking behind the drywall, beneath the slab, and inside the fine print. From wild, real-life inspections to the rising trend of pre-listing and new construction walkthroughs, it's construction site investigation you don't want to miss. Hi, everybody. I'm Celia, and welcome again to Coasting Podcast, where we help you find your people, place, and pace. Welcome back. Episode 5 is going to be a good one. It's me again, Celia, and wait, you are so not Aunt B.
That is correct.
You are also not Scott Campbell, our special guest.
I am not Scott Campbell.
But wait. I think I have just recognized it's the voice. It is... You're the Coasting Podcast voice.
I am the voiceover person.
Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners, allow me to introduce Rob Woodall. He's a dear friend of mine. He's also, there's so many titles, Rob, really. There's real estate executive in the area, 2025 South Carolina Realtor of the Year, right here. And of course, important dad, right? So, there's just, exactly. So, welcome. And how did you get in the convertible? What has happened here?
Well, Aunt B called me and let me know that there was a code to the convertible. And so I broke in and got in. And while she is out visiting her fam, so she asked me if I could come in and step in and help out.
Well, I'm so glad that you are here. So, okay, I know that you're a regular listener. Clearly, you're a part of the broadcast as the official voice. So she did the last episode. She did the yummy to the tummy segment. And Aunt B talked about going to breakfast at a restaurant called Drift. We took her advice. We actually went. So, hey, what did we do?
Well, it was a cold, it was a couple days before New Year's. It was cold and it was packed and we had just a small wait and it was fine. Nothing more than 5 or 10 minutes. And then,
what did you order?
We were seated.
Yes, we were. What did you order?
I ordered the tuna bowl, which fresh tuna, and it had quinoa and vegetables, and it was really good. And it was so good that you kept eyeing it that I felt I should eat it faster.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. It was just as soon as they put the plate down, I was just like, excuse me, what is that? It looks so fresh and so good. So I'm not going to lie. I was totally, and I'm usually not that person. My sister is that person. She'll be like, what are you going to order? Which is strategic because she wants to make sure that she's going to get a bite of something, And I'm usually like, no, I'm good. I'll have mine. But this time, as soon as they put that down, I'm like, I got to have some of that. So thank you for being the person who shares. I appreciate that.
And it had a beautiful half avocado in there too.
So here's the part. It's called quinoa. What is this? I thought in the South they called that quinoa.
Quinoa? No. It's almost like a quesadilla.
Exactly. So yes, I ordered, I think it was the avocado BLT.
Yes, you ordered part of that.
Well, I'm slightly high maintenance, Rob, which I think you already know. So go on, tell them, go ahead.
So she orders the avocado BLT holding the avocado. I was like, well, Celia, you might as well just order a cheeseburger and hold the cheese. That takes all the fun out of it.
I know. I don't know what it is, Rob. And I know that the fact that I'm actually admitting that I do not like avocado, I think this could literally just shut down the podcast because everybody seems to love avocado. I feel like I'm one in a zillion. And you have actually just told them that I do not like. So thanks. It's really good to have you here.
And you may send avocados too.
But it was awesome. We had, the way that they presented the plates, just like Aunt B said, it's like picture perfect. You just want to take, the camera and take a picture. The wait staff, they were awesome. And, one of the things that, and you're right, it was very cold that day. And so super bonus points. I asked for hot tea. They actually had some. Second, super like cherry on top. I asked for mint tea and they had it.
Just red letter day, except for the avocado.
It was, yeah. Well, but the fact that he was like, I mean, he giggled, right? I mean, yeah. You two are in cahoots like, she doesn't want avocado. But hey, regardless, we want to say Aunt B, you're on top of it. She got it. It was awesome. And if you haven't been to Drift, you should definitely go. It was really, really good. So now here we are, we're going through January. I don't know about you, Bra, but January is one of those tough months to kind of push through. You take your decorations down. So now it looks kind of dull outside, and nothing's blooming yet. It's just kind of, So, I always say if it's going to look like it's gray and cold, it might as well just snow, right? And last year, dang it, at this time, it did. It did snow.
Snow at the beach.
I know. So do you have any story or recollection? What were you doing? Did you get to do snow angels? I mean.
Oh, well, having two daughters, we my favorite was like all good Southern people, when it snows, we tie a ski rope to our golf cart and we get a sled and we drag our kids up and down the street until the police stop us and say, don't do this anymore. So, but helmets were worn. So
that's good to know. Good to know. I mean, it's just, and I have to tell people who are moving to this area, thinking of moving here, that snow, it doesn't have to actually snow. Okay. You just have to have the prediction of snow. That's all. And the place goes wild, which is highly entertaining for those of us who have been in areas where it has snowed previously. I mean, they will talk about it for a solid, week and a half.
Snowmageddon.
Exactly. And so then, of course, you better plan your trip to the grocery store, i.e., wine. Okay, I'm just going to say it, people. All right. Because these, what do you need milk and bread for? I mean, seriously, they're called storm snacks. And we'll talk about them in greater detail when hurricane season comes up. But this place went wild and it was shut down for at least 3 days?
Well, technically, I mean, it was 3 days that they shut the town down. But my dear friends that's from Providence, Rhode Island, I was like, hey, you drive in snow? You can go do this. He's like, I don't drive in snow in Myrtle Beach. I said, why not? And he's like, because you people think y'all know how to drive in the snow. We know how to drive in snow, and y'all will wreck. So we don't get on the road. So
and I literally think there might be 2 snow trucks maybe in the county. So so what's wild is that it literally takes people going on those roads to actually get it to create a path or melt it, because it's not going to be from a snowplow. And so then that's the hilarious part, is that here you are, and let's just say it's 4-lane, and all of a sudden, your road goes over. and for those of you who aren't watching, I'm saying it basically looks like, I don't know, some kind of mountainous road that you have to find the path to get to it. But I mean, we were shut down. We had, 4 to 6 inches of snow. So that's big time. That was big for the Myrtle Beach area. And so, that was a ton of fun. Except for the part where I was in a conference in Orlando then, and I had to drive back here. And so thank God for all the new highway, state highway apps, because they were telling me as soon as I crossed over into Georgia, they said, get off Highway 95 or Interstate 95. And so I basically traveled up 17 through most of that. And it was crazy. So I remember taking a picture of my vehicle after that trip when I finally got back here safely, and it was just covered in crap. And I'm like, I look like I just had a trip from Vermont, not from Orlando, Florida. Exactly. So, but it was great fun. We love it because it really does just, kind of shake up our world, and we love that. Now, I always say, if it is kind of yucky, and January is one of those where you're kind of hibernating a good bit, it's a good time to just call people. And so since we're, cruising in the coasting convertible right now, as you can see, I think we need to start a new segment, okay? We're going to call this the Convertible Call-In Q&A.
Okay.
All right, it's a little wordy.
I like it.
I mean, come on, when you're in your car, you're always chit-chatting away. So I figure, we'll use the pretend Bluetooth, and we'll read some of the questions we're getting via email. People are leaving comments via the YouTube channel. So Rob, since you are our official voice, you get to go ahead and start with the first one. You ready?
Okay.
Here, I feel like we should have a drum roll of the official inaugural convertible call-in Q&A.
I think this is the segment of insects in South Carolina.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go.
Here we go. Is there any bug spray that you recommend to have on hand should I encounter one of those not so precious palmetto bugs?
Oh, well, this is a great question, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any secret, anything that's besides, of course, we're talking about, this is when it's eluded the, exterminator's potion, and it's in the house. Other than like your foot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess Raid is the only one I would
All right,
recommend.
all right.
I mean, I don't really think I've ever bought any for the precious palmetto
Okay,
bug.
you can tell you're so a guy. Okay, all right. Let me just give you some details here, Rob, because you have to have it totally prepared.
Especially get 12 feet away.
Thank you. Okay, it's 20 foot,
20,
actually.
okay, 20.
There is a spray with 20, because you got to have that for the wasps as well. All right. And then, do you remember those old phone books, the giant ones? Okay, I so held on to one of those it was like the final, if I had cornered the bug, and then it's like, all right, this is it. And I would, from a decent height, boom. And then I would stand on it just to confirm that sucker could not. And you can bet I would totally think in my worst nightmare that if I turned that phone book over,
It would be there.
it would just. So, but there's another one. So there's some, I know a lot of people who live here, and this place, have you ever heard of Verine's Garden Center? They're off of Highway 90. Yeah. Well, apparently they do some of their own concoction of, I don't know if it's a spray or a powder or what it is, but a lot of people swear by it. So there's another one for that. So that's the answer to keeping away those precious
palmetto. I mean, they make it sound sweet.
Oh, well, we just,
They
fluffy.
fly at you, though. They're not so precious. But.
Yeah, I am not going to sleep tonight.
Well, here's another question. What
right, bring
is
it on.
one thing that surprised you about the area when you first moved to the Carolina coast?
Oh, another good one. So I literally almost to the day moved here 8 years ago from Charlotte. And I think in a previous one with Aunt B, I talked about, it was about restaurants, how from Charlotte, much more urban. So you've got restaurants that'll be open until, 10, midnight, whatever. And so when I came here and realized, and again, it was January, so a lot of things either aren't even open on Monday, Tuesday, but a lot of them will be done by 8 o'clock. It was like, oh my gosh, I have to hurry up and get something to eat. So that was different. And then also things like a post office, like the one in Little River, that closes every day that they're open from 12 to 1 for lunch. It just closes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or, banks that you are used to having some kind of hours on a Saturday morning. Nope. That's not going to happen here. So these are the things, but again, a lot of that has changed because of the growth. But now you just came to the area just a few years ago. So how about you? What are some things you've noticed?
The ease of which you can get to the beach is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
Where I came from Charleston, it would take 45 minutes to an hour.
Sure.
And you can get to the beach pretty easy. And of course, I love riding up and down the boulevard, and everybody laughs at me. They're like, why would you be stuck in traffic on the bus? Because it's so beautiful and you see all this stuff, and it's all, let's see.
There is a lot to, I would agree. There's a lot to.
Closings on Friday afternoon. Not doing a lot of, in the real estate world. And
we shut her down. Okay. We don't,
If it's going to close in the afternoon, you might as well just look for it to close on Monday, because we're shutting down. And
that's so funny you say that. My clients know we do not close on a Friday. We just do not.
I thought it was a joke when they told me that. I'm like, are you kidding?
All right. So, any more come in on the conversation?
Yep.
All right, bring it in.
Here. I just wanted to comment. Big thank you for the episode with Travis Hofsteller. We went to Huntington State Park and saw an amazing bird.
That's awesome. I'm so glad they did that. It really is. There's just so much to see there with the, Atalaya Castle, or Atalaya, however you like to pronounce it, and, a potential gator. But then I have seen some of those, it's a beautiful place. So bravo to you, podcast listeners, for finding your place at Huntington. That's great.
Okay, one more.
Bring it on.
I just moved here recently from Maryland. Does Aunt B have a suggestion for where to get a good crab cake?
Oh, I bet she does. And you know what? The good news is, since I'm from Maryland, and we have an answer to this because it's one of our favorite places that we go to. I mean, they are probably like, oh, great, it's them again. but it's called, are you ready? Casamia.
Casamia, yeah.
In Surfside. It's kind of a hole in the wall. So if you go, what is that exit? Homestown, I think, road.
Right.
And it's in a shopping plaza with a Food Lion, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And it's very small, and oh my gosh, it is so good. So if you're from Maryland, as this person is, they the type of crab meat that you use is jumbo lump crab meat, and it is okay. So yeah, I'm a seafood snob. I'll admit it. Okay. And so it is. They have for appetizers, you have crab balls. Then you have the crab cake, the soup though.
That's right. We combining the soups.
Yes. Yeah. So they have the tomato based crab vegetable as well as cream of crab, and then the third option is, like you said, to mix them. And that the cat's meow. It was excellent. It was very good. Well, those are some good ones. I like those.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, those are good. You know what? You can keep those questions coming. There's a great way to do it. You can either comment on the section for each episode, and say if you're looking at from YouTube, or we've got an email address, of course, coastingpodcastsc@gmail.com. Keep sending them in. Who knows? We might actually call you to set it up that when we're recording, you're actually the one asking the question. What? How cool would that be? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. All right, Rob, I hate this, but I've got to pull the convertible over and I'm kicking you out.
Ceremoniously, I see that. That's quick.
Exactly. I didn't even get to say goodbye or anything. But you know what? We've got our special guest, Scott Campbell from Moore's Home Inspections, is here. And well, guess what? You have to do the commercial break, and that's what's coming next. So everybody will be right back.
The third annual Oyster and Art Festival, a lively celebration of coastal Carolina food, art, and community, will take place on Saturday, January 31st, 2026. The festival will be held rain or shine in the parking lot area behind the Grand Strand Brewing Company in downtown Myrtle Beach. The proceeds benefiting the Franklin G. Burroughs and Simeon B. Chapin Art Museum. There is a $5 entry fee, and it is $25 bucket for oysters. Tickets may be purchased in advance online or at the gate the day of the event.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. So many of you who are, regular podcast listeners, you're all about, the crime podcast, the whodunit, they just are, you just love them. And so I had to put a little spin on today's episode title, like a little CSI. And so sure enough, the title of this one, CSI Myrtle Beach Construction Site Investigation. Thank goodness Scott Campbell, co-owner of Moore's Home Inspections, is here to make sense of all of the twists and turns of property inspections so they don't result in tragedy. Didn't that sound like, I'm really working it here for this episode? It's a buildup. Hey, Scott, welcome to the Coasting Podcast. Glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
So I have a ton of questions. I'm going to dive in on your background for since so many of this, all of our listeners, it's like I said, they're either thinking about coming here or they have just recently moved here. So tell us about your journey. Where did you live? How long have you been here?
I've lived pretty much every part of this country, but I moved here about 8 years ago from California. Prior to that, Ohio, Georgia, Boston, Massachusetts, list goes on. So
yeah. Okay. So I know a lot of people are going to go, seriously, you were in California and you came to Myrtle Beach. We got to know why.
Cost.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, cost of living is pretty much it. I have a young son. He's not so young anymore, but back then in the public schools in that area, it was just, things were kind of iffy. So we decided to come back east, and for me particular, back to the south.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good. Now, I would be remiss, every special guest that we have on the podcast, the very first question I was supposed to ask, so I'm backing up a little bit, comes with I always tell people that whenever I talk to my clients, they're always like, the alligators. I don't want to live anywhere near the alligators. So we have to ask all of our special guests, have you seen an alligator and were you in fear for your life?
I've seen plenty of them.
Oh, stop.
I've seen them on inspections.
You're not supposed to answer that way, Scott. Jeez, I mean.
And when we're doing backyards, we try not to turn our back to the water too much.
Oh, my gosh. Is there any particular area of the Grand Strand or the Carolina coast in particular that you find it to be more prevalent?
Devadoo.
Okay. So Devadoo is a part of Georgetown County, just so everybody knows. So you will have just gone through Pawleys Island, and it is a lovely private neighborhood that as you're heading south to Georgetown, it's on the left-hand side. So a lot of marsh, so it certainly makes sense. And we've mentioned before that Pawleys Island is also a place that you might find, some of those. But thankfully, you're still here.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And
pay attention.
you're still talking to us. Phew. Okay. So now we're going to narrow into, were you an inspector prior to moving here?
I was not.
So talk about the training and the certification that you've got to go through to become an inspector.
So I guess the training varies. It depends on your experience in the construction industry. So I'm about to turn 51, and I've been in the construction industry and architecture since I was 15.
Okay.
I started in HVAC, installing HVAC, and I did that while I was in college at Georgia Tech for architecture.
Okay.
And I had a design build company. Well, even before that, I worked for a property acquisition company in Ohio, and they acquired all sorts of properties: industrial, warehouse, school buildings, flip homes, you name it. And so I worked as a maintenance person in that. So I kind of learned a lot of the intricacies.
Sure, it sounds like layer upon layer from your previous experiences.
Yep. And then, so from there, I started a design build company in Ohio. And when the market crashed, I think it was 08, 09, sold that. And that's when I moved to California.
Gotcha.
And I actually intended to be a home inspector in California. That was when I was going to start. But I crossed paths with two different gentlemen early on that led me into pool design and commercial landscaping and irrigation. So ended up doing that while I was out there instead. And then finally pulled the trigger on being an inspector when I moved here. So as far as the training is concerned, the licensing requirements in South Carolina have changed a little bit over the last few years. When I got here 8 years ago, it was basically you had to take a 2-hour class by some certified body and then pass the test or intern with somebody for a year. I had a lot of the construction knowledge, so I joined a group called ASHI, which is the American Society of Home Inspectors.
Okay.
I traveled to Ohio, took their 2-week course there, and then that's how I got my license here.
Gotcha. Yep. And then is there anything you have to do annually to keep up any certification or anything that the state requires?
So the state did not require anything, but ASHI requires 40 hours of continuing education a year, which is similar to what I think you have to do as a real estate agent. ASHI actually writes the standard of practice and code of ethics for South Carolina. So they've pushed for upgrades on those standards. Getting the license now is quite a bit more difficult than it was when I got it. There's actually a national test you have to take, and there is continuing education. Also, ASHI requires you to have background checks. So you got to have background check every 2 years. So it depends.
It sounds like then it is coming closer to the requirements that we have in terms of that background check, the continuing ed. Now, I'm happy to report our amount of continuing ed as a real estate agent, much less per year than what you are saying you have to do. So, phew, I don't know how it's already difficult for us to fit it in the midst of our schedules. I can only imagine what it's like for you to try and fit all that in.
So with ASHI, they have state chapters and they have international chapters. They're in like 67 countries and 37 of the states. So we have a South Carolina chapter, and what they do is they bring in different speakers or they do different tours once every quarter.
Okay.
So we go to a meeting on a Saturday. We spend the whole day there. And depending on the speaker that they bring in or where we're going, that's what we get education on.
Gotcha. So let's dive in and start educating our listeners and viewers about the world of inspection. We're just, again, going to take it small, and then we're going to go into the fun stories and stuff eventually. So I just want to talk about initially, because there are different types of inspections. If I say, what's included in a standard inspection for a home, let's just say resale or new construction, how would you explain that to clients?
And this, I tell them all this. I say, if I can put my eyes or my hands on it, I'm going to inspect it. That's pretty much how I tell them. If I can walk a roof, I'm going to walk a roof. I'm going to go through every part of the attic. I'm going to test your HVAC system. I'm going to pull the panel off your electrical panel, the cover off your electrical panel. I'm going to test your water heater, every door, every window, every outlet that I can get to. So you talk about a resale versus new construction. Well, new construction, I can get to anything because there's nothing there. Resale sometimes is a little bit more difficult if somebody hasn't moved out. There's a lot of furniture, there's boxes, whatnot. So some of that stuff may get in the way, but I'm definitely going to get to a representative number of everything in the house. So yeah, that's what I tell them. It's top to bottom, inside and out.
So, on average, how long is an inspection taking for a property? And I know you're going to start with it depends.
It does, but on average, I'd say about 2 to 2.5 hours, and that does not include report writing and if I have to do any research on maybe some code issue that I have.
Now, you and I may differ on the answer to this next one. I always want to ask, do you recommend that the clients be there for the entire inspection?
That's the one I'll give you it depends.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is it depends on the level of the knowledge that the client has about homes and construction process and all that. If they're comfortable enough reading a report and knowledgeable about electrical or plumbing or whatnot, I can talk them through it over the phone. If they don't really have any knowledge of that stuff, it helps for them to be there because it's much easier to explain it in person than it is looking at a computer screen over the phone.
Right. And you know that for so many of our people purchasing here, they are from out of state.
Yep.
So coming for that inspection is not always easy. So there's a couple of means that we can do that. We can certainly, be there and do video to explain. But also, I shouldn't say always, my effort is always to come to the inspection with about 30 to 45 minutes left in the inspection so that, I think you guys have heard the phrase of being a helicopter parent, if you will. I don't want a helicopter client, honestly, because I'm going to say you can come at the end, but I don't want you there the whole time simply because I think the more they're chit-chatting, and what about that
exactly
your
right.
system by which you go through an inspection might get a little kind of off your game, and I don't want you to miss anything. So I usually am telling people to come towards the end if they're in person.
And I mean, that makes perfect sense. Like I said, it depends on the person. I typically try and tell them the same thing. Last hour, 30 minutes, home inspectors, architects, construction people are very compartmentalized, kind of system-oriented people. And I have a system that I go through throughout the house. And the more that system is interrupted, the more likely mistakes are made.
Exactly.
So I'm 100% in agreement with you there. If I had my choice, come the last 30 minutes.
This, and you don't like avocado? Man, you are my buddy forever. I love this. This is great. Okay. So back to, how do you show your findings of an inspection?
send them on a report. So it'll get put into the computer. It'll get put on a digital report, and we'll email it. And then you can do whatever you want. Client can do whatever they want. Agent can do whatever they want. The software is very interactive, so you can create repair request lists on there. You can PDF, you can print, you can just take sections. You can kind of do whatever you want. So it typically is delivered by email. Once in a blue moon, I have someone that tells me, I don't have email. Can you print it out? And I'm like,
And the reason he goes,
it's like 70 pages, 80 pages, 90 pages.
And that's the part that's awesome is that, this is what in the last, I don't know, 5, 8 years, the software has changed for your work, which has made it a huge, in terms of how much more efficient you can be with these reports. Because it used to be you do your report, however, whether you're talking, typing, writing, which is what most were doing. And then you'd have to take that information and turn it into the actual report. Whereas now you can literally be doing that on the software on, an iPad, a laptop, whatever,
I do it on my
as
phone.
you're doing the inspection. So that literally means within 30 minutes, if that, of the inspection being done, it is in the hands of the client and the agent, which is wonderful. Which then means, guess what? You get to do more inspections in a day. Aren't you lucky?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's what we want to do. I love that stuff. That's why I got into it. That software has come a long way. I mean, I remember my first house I bought, I had an inspection and the guy was there all day, did all this stuff, and he handed it to me on site, but it was printed out on this weird, I don't even know what it was.
It was probably from Radio Shack, Scott.
It was like, the paper was like this wide and this long, and I'm trying to read through this thing, and now I do most of it on my phone.
Yeah.
A lot of it is talk to text, and it puts in, the only thing I have to do when I get home is really kind of edit the pictures and proofread it and then send it on.
Yeah. And these reports are indeed so thorough, and they have images, and now you can even embed video in them. So it really, it makes those clients who can't come feel so much better that what they just got is just literally an encyclopedia about the property. Now, next level type of add-on. So we've talked about the software, but what are some other cool things that you can do or add to an inspection that takes it one step further? And visually, I want to, if you're watching people, we've got we have gadgets. I love show and tell. So this, to me, for those of you who are listening, this almost looks like a state highway patrol radar gun.
So that's probably one of my top most important tools is thermal imaging. So this is basically a camera is what it is. There's some misnomers about what this can and can't do. Some people think it is X-ray vision. It is not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Darn, I was so sure you guys had that service.
No, I wish I did, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not Superman. I don't have X-ray vision. But this does allow me to see some things that I might not normally see, or confirm some things that I kind of have an idea might be there.
And so, tell me, where are you using this? What, maybe give us an example of maybe something you found.
All right. So basically, first of all, what this is basically a visual thermometer.
Okay.
That's all it is. It gives me temperature gradients of whatever it is that I'm looking at. Okay. Right. So that's all it is. It will only tell me the temperature on the surface of something. So as an example, if your air conditioner is on and it's hot in the house, you're going to have mainly an orange background, and then any cool spot's going to show up in like a purple. So it's it's kind of a color gradient. And I will use this over the whole house with the exception of the outside. And like some of the stuff that I found, and this kind of blows me away, having come from the HVAC industry. I have seen, and this is in new houses, and I've seen this in houses that people that have lived there for 15 years. They have drywalled over your HVAC register.
Oh dear!
I'm in a room, and I'm looking. I'm saying, there's no air supply in here, and I'll get this out, and there'll be a bright purple spot right there, or if the heat's on, a bright orange spot right there. And I'm going,
go figure.
They put that there, and it's been there for 15 years, and the people have been living in the house and never seen it. So that's one of the things it can do. It can help me find hot spots for maybe bad electrical connections. It can find water leaks. Water evaporates. It gives a cool signature. So you have a water leak on a pipe inside a wall, that sheetrock or that drywall is getting wet. it'll show that to me.
So, and then next step from there, anything involving water, can you test for mold?
Yep.
Yep. And, is that, I've seen one of those where I guess you just almost looks like you're plugging something in, but it's a moisture test. Is that the first step?
Yeah, I have a lot of different tools that I can use for that. So I have a moisture meter.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, most moisture meters are notoriously unreliable.
Okay.
However, they will give you an indication
All right.
Of what's going on.
What I meant to say was don't use the moisture meter.
Yeah. If you have a really good one, use it because they're great. But most of the ones that you can buy from the store or buy on Amazon or whatnot, they're unreliable. However, they will give you an indication, right?
Okay.
So if you stab it in an area you think it's wet and then bam, it hits 100%, probably have an issue there to look into.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then, we're certified mold. So.
And then do you also do pools as well?
Yep. Pools, spa, elevators, you name it. There's pretty much every part of the house that we can do. The only thing that we really don't do is generators.
Okay.
We usually turn those over to electricians.
That's okay. Got it. And we do have a decent number of people who do have those. So that's good to know. That's good to know. So now we're going to start getting into the specifics here. We're in a very unique climate and region here in the Carolina coast. Does that in any way lend itself to just, I'll call it common issues that you find in resale homes?
Absolutely. In resale homes? Yeah, absolutely. Mold.
Or condos.
Mold.
Yeah.
Mold is a big one. Very humid. Get a lot of mold. A lot of people have second homes here. And so when they leave during the summer, they go somewhere else, they turn their air conditioner off, come back and call me to do a mold test. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially close to the water, deterioration of outdoor units like heat pumps, air conditioners, they'll go pretty quick there. So yeah, absolutely. Pest infestation.
Right.
Talking about palmetto bugs, but pretty much termites.
Yeah,
termites,
exactly.
A lot of termites, yeah.
So, and we always try to include in our episodes, we call it the, coasting council moment. And that would be, any, especially in new construction, or if you're a resale and they still have some leftover warranty, just make sure you know all about your warranties. Make sure you register them, because due to the climate and the additional humidity, et cetera, storms, wind, some of those things that are covered for X amount of years, like, for example, they always talk about the 30-year roof shingle. Okay, our roofs do not last 30 years here at all, not even close.
Nope.
And so these are the things that I would say in terms of the coasting council. Just know your warranties, make sure you have registered for all of them, and that an inspection every once in a while is not a bad idea, so that you can plan ahead for, this is the year we're going to have to invest in that roof, etc. So let's talk new construction, because that's what you and I do a lot of. You can bet that we do have some people where we really, I am very pro inspection, obviously, but I definitely have clients who are like, it's new construction. I don't need it. So talk to me. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So like I said, I've been here 8 years. I would say the first 5 to 6 years, about 10% of my business was new inspection, new construction. Wow. It's flipped. Okay. It's probably 90% now.
Interesting.
Yeah. And very good reasons for it. There's not a lot of kind of homegrown skilled trades in this area. So everything is being subcontracted. Everything is being managed by a lot of superintendents that may not have a history in construction. I know some that were school teachers. I know some, that were military, whatnot. It's not to knock them. It's just they're new to that area. Right. So because there's been a lot of issues with some new construction, and people are very vocal about that stuff, right? So you get on Facebook and Twitter and you see all this, that, and the other. A lot of that stuff is simply cosmetic stuff, but some of it is real issues. And so new construction, at this point, I am recommending people do phase inspections. Not just your pre-closing, because I'm finding foundation issues before you pour the foundation. I'm finding, it just, the list goes on and on.
So yeah, you've got, certainly can recommend that's the foundation pour. You've got, they call it pre-drywall, which is the last time you get to see basically any of the electrical wiring, plumbing,
Yep.
et cetera, all your rough ins.
Yep.
And then you've got, for new construction, they always bring the clients in, the buyer in to do a, we'll call it a pre-closing orientation and walk. And then, of course, they do a final walk. And so to your point, towards the end there, the drywall's up, the cabinets are in. All you're going to see is mostly aesthetic.
Stuff you can't see.
So what is, we've done a lot of those pre-drywalls, and there's, number one item that shows up on your reports.
Broken, damaged trusses.
Okay.
Yep.
And so that is something that if you are a buyer and you start reading a report that says, you've got pieces that are holding up your roof that are broken.
Yeah.
That is very stressful and unsettling.
It is. Yeah.
And, but I think, and from here, I'll take it in terms of people have to know how the framing was delivered in the first place, because that causes so much of the issue in that the framing is done somewhere else in a climate controlled factory. And it might be that each builder has a distribution center that, that brings that in, maybe it's out of Atlanta or, wherever. And so it's coming in on a flatbed, and there's a lot of it. There could be 2 flatbeds depending on how big the house is. And if you've ever, I would say if you want to see a cool video, Google how the flatbed unloads your roof frames.
I have a story about that one too.
So,
in a neighborhood you and I are very familiar with.
and literally, so it's basically they're going to raise up the part that's by the tractor and just dump it. And wherever there's space on the street and the yard next to the house where it's being built, it's being dumped.
Yep.
And then a crane grabs it and starts putting it together like Legos.
If you're lucky, a crane.
Yeah, true. That is very true. So the other one that I like to talk about that, can those be fixed? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the part that we have to do, in our world, is that we see it every day, but the buyer has not seen a report every day that says, so we've got to take those steps to explain how that can be done and the importance of an engineering letter. But the other one is the gusset plate, right? So talk about that one really quickly.
I mean, that's same. It happens the same way that the damaged trusses happen. So you're talking about how they're delivered. In that neighborhood that you and I are very familiar with, I did the first building in there and found 7 or 8 broken trusses, damaged gusset plates.
And hopefully we're going to have an image that we can show as a part of the episode to give an idea of the visually how that was unsettling even to you as an inspector.
Yeah. Well, and so I pointed out in the report and predictably the client was a little bit nervous about that. And, I kind of explained to him the easy way to go about dealing with this. Not the end of the world. It can be fixed. Just this is the way it's got to be done. And I went back a month later to do the next door one, and that client was sitting outside.
Happened to be my client as well.
Yep. And he was like, how does this happen? And so right across the street, they were actually building the next row of the same
product,
same type. Yeah. And I wish I had been thinking at that point, or I would have recorded that for YouTube and a podcast, because we watched them break the trusses as they were knocking them off the truck right there. And I said, well, that's how they happen right there. So, but gusset plates, gusset plate is basically a plate that attaches your trusses together. So each cord on your truss, you have diagonals, you have verticals, you have horizontals. Each one of them are attached with a gusset plate. Well, what happens is when you knock those things off the truck, they pop apart. Or especially when you're putting vinyl siding on and they're shooting nails in from the outside, they knock those gusset plates off.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen with like cement fiber. It's almost always vinyl.
Because if you've ever been in new construction community and all you hear all day long is pop, 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 pop of the nail gun. And so they are not going carefully and purposely like, oh, there might be a gusset plate there. Let me skip by a half an inch. No, they're speed. They're all about speed. And so, yeah, to your point, it can look pretty wild up there in the roof. Now, 2 more questions before we take a break. The first one is going to be a lot of those new construction, they're going to give them a warranty that we basically say is for 1 year, bumper to bumper.
Yep.
And so they're going to start the company's going to start, or the builder is going to start calling the buyer going around 10, 11 month mark. Hey, what's your list? And
if you're lucky, they start calling.
Right, right. And we're absolutely recommending that same inspector come back out to, again, take another thorough look so that because it's the last time the builder's showing up. That's it.
Yep.
You know, pretty much for the most part. It's can be a challenge to get them to come back after that. So are you a proponent of that as well? Have you been doing more of those lately?
Do quite a bit of them. And the reason I tend to recommend it now, if we've done pre-drywall, if we've done pre and post foundation, if we've done final, we'll find less issues.
Sure.
On an 11-month. However, depending on the superintendent or whoever does the repair work, I will go back into that property and the client will say, yeah, they fixed it. And I'll go there and I'll find that they didn't fix it.
Wow. So it sounds like even for those who didn't get the inspection the first time around, get it for the 11-month because it could really lengthen your list.
And that's what I'm starting to get a lot of.
Okay.
Because like you said, a lot of clients think brand new home should be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need an inspection. Then they're there for a while, start talking to their neighbors. They start finding out this went wrong, and this went wrong. And then they're saying, okay, I need to get one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got a call on the way here for that.
So before the break, the latest trend is that we're really seeing that when people want to list their home, now we're saying, ooh, you might want to, as my favorite quote is, minimize the surprise and get it inspected before you list so that you know ahead of time if there's going to be anything that you need to repair. Is that happening? Are you seeing that trend as well?
I do see it. I usually see it in higher priced homes.
Okay.
I don't necessarily see it too much in, kind of the mid-range homes, but the higher priced homes do a lot of those in Debedu. Specifically because Debedu's older and they have a lot of issues. But it's smart.
It is. But the key point as a real estate agent that I want to make sure I tell people is that if you get that inspection report before you list and it finds something, we must disclose it.
Yeah.
Must. So that's the kind of the risk, But I also think, well, then can you list it now? Or are you going to need a year to take care of these big projects? Because then you'll be able to possibly get it sold at a higher price. Right. So again, I think there are some positives and negatives to that. And depending upon the age of the home itself, I think really, really makes that difference. When we come back, it's going to be story time, which I know everybody's going to love because even though to you it's like, oh, it's just another day out there. Yeah. Some of us are going to go, excuse me, what did you see? Yeah. So when we come back, it's going to be story time on some inspection findings. We'll be right back.
The Collectors event is returning as a live and on-location event, and we could not be more excited to celebrate with our collectors and artists once again. After 4 years of connecting virtually and over Zoom, 2026 makes the long-awaited return to an in-person event. The location is the beautiful William H. Miller Studios and Fine Art Gallery located at 702 8th Avenue North in the Arts and Innovation District of downtown Myrtle Beach. Explore an exceptional collection of fine art available for viewing from February 17th through March 8th, 2026. Then join us for the main event, March 8th, 2026 at the gallery. We look forward to welcoming you back for a special celebration of art, creativity, and community. Tickets are $250 and are available to purchase by calling 843-238-2510 or online at www.myrtlebeachartmuseum.org.
Okay, everybody, we're back with Scott Campbell with Morris Home Inspection. All right, I have to do one of these. I mean, we did call it CSI. So, what's one of the maybe wildest things you've uncovered, that just, I don't know, maybe it shocked, maybe not you, but the buyer or seller?
Well, I mean, honestly, when I first started new construction, those broken trusses floored me. I had no idea that was the type of stuff that we were putting together down here.
Have you come, I know we talked about the alligators, but have you been doing an inspection and been greeted by an animal?
Yeah, snakes are a good one, but they're not where you would normally think.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us where.
Most people would think you find the snakes in the crawl spaces. I find them in attics. Wow. Especially in the winter.
Wow.
Yeah, they get up in that insulation. They love it. It's nice and warm up there. Yeah, so that's not really that fun to come across.
You just gave us another thing that's going to keep us not able to sleep tonight. Thanks. Now, also what's important is so many of the people who are moving to this area are so used to a crawl space or basement, and we have very few of those around here, right?
Well, it depends on where you're at.
So how big are these crawl spaces?
I've been in some that I can barely fit in, and I've been in some I can walk through.
Wow.
So it just depends. It depends.
And I would
And
think,
again, it depends on which area, right? So I'm up here in Myrtle Beach. I don't get a ton of crawl spaces, maybe 5 to 10%. But if I go out to Conway or to Little River, I'll see them. And then my partner, who's down in Georgetown, 90% of his homes have crawl spaces.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
And so you asked about crazy things I've seen. I went into one. They were about to buy this home, went in, and the termites had eaten almost all the way through the floor structure. And that floor was going to come down at any time. And so obviously they said, no, we're gone. So that one's kind of scary.
Now, you did one of the historic homes in Georgetown, didn't you?
Yep. I've done several, but that one in particular, the Kaminski House Museum.
Oh, that one. Right. It's like right on the waterfront, isn't
Yep.
it?
1769 is when it was built.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so that's kind of an interesting one because all of the old systems, as it progresses from 1969 to now, over 250 years later, are still there and intact. They're not functioning, but because all of the upgrades and updates that they can do are kind of dictated by the historical society, they have to have inspections every time they do anything, and they can't pull anything out.
Oh, my gosh.
So you got to kind of crawl through all that stuff, and it's.
But I bet that was really an interesting one
It
as an
is.
inspector to do.
It is. They say, oh, you don't build houses like that anymore. They definitely don't build houses like that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hand-hewn beams. It's just some of the stuff you see in there. It's like, wow. Yeah.
I think it would be neat to take a tour of that house with you so that you can point out some of that stuff. I think
The unfortunate, you probably don't want to go through that crawl space or that
No.
that basement. That's a little much, but yeah,
Okay,
no,
maybe.
it's definitely an interesting piece of property for sure.
So on average, how many inspections are you doing a year, ballpark?
Well, it's grown because of the software and being able to actually produce reports quicker and not have to spend so much time typing and researching and all that stuff. It's grown. Personally, I probably did 200, 250 this year.
Oh my gosh.
But it's been my busiest year since I've been here.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was just 2025 was a very interesting year, and of course the general story out there was like, oh, it's terrible out there. Well, Myrtle Beach once again,
Not here.
It was not. So they and we are grateful for that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So to wrap it up, really, just what's one thing that you wish people understood about your job? Anything that maybe is, I don't know, confusing or just. Maybe they think it's an easy job.
I think people see home inspectors as a commodity.
Okay.
And by that, I mean one is just as good as the next. One home inspector is just as good as the next home inspector. So if I can find one for $200 as opposed to $300, I'm going to save $100 on my home inspection. There are very good home inspectors in the area. There are very good marketers in the area. That's how I tend to separate them. So I think that's kind of a misconception. Us at Morris Home Inspections, any ASHI inspector, which there's only 4 of us in the Georgetown and Horry County area, we do continuing education. We get mold certification. I have asbestos certification, lead-based paint, water testing certifications. We do pool and spa certification. I did certification course for thermal imaging. We go to our quarterly meetings. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into actually trying to provide the service that we believe the client deserves, not just try and do as many inspections as I can.
Right.
And so that's the difference. I mean, so you should do your homework.
Well, and I think one of the reasons that, the clients I have that utilize your service appreciate you so much is because of the knowledge and that you are very good at educating them. It's not like, I know, you don't, and we're going to keep it that, it's the explaining along the way. And I think that gives them a greater sense of security as they move forward, with purchasing and closing on the home. So I thank you so much for being here. We could talk 3 more episodes with the stories we have, but you play such a significant part in the team of peeps that I use. So I just thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. We are done. The Coasting Convertible is pulling in for a rest. Thank you so much for joining us. A couple of notes. Again, if you are watching this and you've seen something that was interesting, humorous, whatever, please share it with others so that we can get the momentum built here. Also, if there are any topics or any suggestions, feedback, share that as well. Oh, and yeah, one more final thing. Guess what? I'm a real estate agent. So if you have any questions about the world of real estate, or you are planning a move here or selling, please give me a call. It's 843-321-9646. And until then, keep it coasting. Thank you. Whoa. Okay, you just stopped the podcast right there.
Can I say it on here?
There I was in the pits with the crew.
It was like Christmas every day at the front doorstep.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I was scared to show my face.
What's an influencer?
The executive producer of Coasting Podcast is Celia Klein. Producer is Michael Lehman of Frame Wave Visuals. The opinions expressed herein are solely those of Celia, Rob, and, the voiceover guy, and any special guest. Good news? Agree? Disagree? You have that liberty. Special thanks to Scott Campbell, the server at Drift, who enjoyed sassing Celia, all farmers who grow avocados, Margaret, Millie Tatum, and the May May. Special thanks to find out that the phrase 6-7 is deemed unacceptable for 2026 and 7. Celia is a licensed realtor in both South and North Carolina. For assistance in either buying or selling real estate, please call 843-321-9646. The Coasting Podcast can be found wherever you currently enjoy other favorite podcasts. We thank you for listening.